Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hey, Jason. Hey, listeners. I'm so excited for today's topic because it's something that can really change how you speak English.
Absolutely. Today, we're talking about a powerful idea. Fluent thinking leads to fluent speaking. Now, many learners focus a lot on grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary, but what if I told you that the way you think in English is just as important, if not more important, than just knowing words?
Yes, it's true. If your mind is slow or stuck, your speaking will be slow and stuck too. But if you train your brain to think fluently in English, your speaking becomes smooth and confident.
That's right. So in this episode, we're going to explore what fluent thinking really means, how it connects to your speaking skills, and most importantly, some practical tips you can start using today to improve both.
And we'll share stories and examples too, so you'll see how this works in real life. If you've ever felt stuck when speaking, or like your mind is racing but your words aren't coming out, this episode is for you.
Perfect. So, grab a cup of tea or coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into the world of fluent thinking and how it can unlock your fluent speaking. Ready, Julia?
Ready, let's go!
All right, Julia, let's start with the basics. What exactly do we mean by fluent thinking? It sounds a bit abstract. How would you explain it to our listeners?
Good question, Jason. Fluent thinking is basically the ability to think smoothly and quickly in English without having to stop and translate from your native language. It means your brain is working in English, not just using English words.
So, it's like when you're thinking in your first language, but instead of that, you're doing all your thinking directly in English?
Exactly. Think about it like this: when you speak your native language, your thoughts just flow naturally, right? You don't have to pause and look up words or check grammar rules in your head. Fluent thinking means training your mind to have that same flow in English.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about memorizing words or practicing sentences, but about how fast and naturally your brain can create ideas in English.
Yes, it's like the difference between slowly assembling a puzzle piece by piece and seeing the whole picture right away. Fluent thinking lets you understand and create language without much effort.
I've noticed sometimes people get stuck because they're trying to translate everything from their own language. That slows down the whole process.
Right, and that's one of the biggest hurdles. Fluent thinking means breaking free from translation and letting your brain work in English, shaping ideas, feelings, and stories directly.
Can you give an example to help our listeners understand better?
Sure. Imagine you see a beautiful sunset. If you think fluently in English, your mind instantly thinks, "The sky is so beautiful. The colors are amazing." But if you translate, you might first think the sentence in your own language, then try to find the right English words, which takes more time.
That delay is exactly what causes hesitation when speaking.
Yes, and fluent thinking is training yourself to avoid that delay. Your brain gets used to English patterns, vocabulary, and expressions so well that it works on its own without that extra step.
That sounds like the ultimate goal for any English learner.
Definitely. And the good news is, anyone can develop fluent thinking with practice and the right techniques, which we'll talk about later in the episode.
Awesome. So now that we know what fluent thinking is, next we'll explore how it connects directly to fluent speaking. So Julia, now that we understand what fluent thinking is, how exactly does it connect to fluent speaking? Why is it so important?
Great question, Jason. The connection is actually very simple but powerful. Fluent thinking creates fluent speaking. If your thoughts flow smoothly in English, your words will follow naturally. But if your thoughts get stuck or slow, your speaking will too.
That makes sense. It's like the brain is the engine. and the mouth is the car. If the engine works well, the car moves smoothly. If the engine is slow, the car can't go fast.
Exactly. When you think fluently, your brain sends clear, fast signals to your mouth and tongue. This helps you speak with confidence and without long pauses.
I remember one of my English learners told me that when she tried to speak, she kept hesitating because she was translating her thoughts word by word. So she sounded slow and nervous.
Yes, that's very common. When your mind isn't used to thinking directly in English, you spend a lot of time planning your sentences instead of just speaking. This breaks the flow and makes speaking stressful.
And that stress can make you even more stuck. It becomes a cycle.
Right? But when you train yourself to think fluently, you break that cycle. Speaking becomes more automatic because your brain has already formed the sentences naturally.
So fluent thinking is kind of like rehearsing your speech inside your mind before you say it out loud.
Yes, and even better, it's spontaneous. It's not rehearsed memorization. It's your brain creating sentences and ideas instantly.
That's huge. So, for learners, focusing on fluent thinking can help reduce that nervousness and hesitation during conversations.
Absolutely. The more you practice thinking in English, the more comfortable you become, and the more your speaking improves without extra effort.
Can you share an example of how someone might practice this connection in everyday life?
Sure. For example, if you're waiting in line or walking, try to describe what you see or what you're feeling in English inside your head. This builds fluent thinking. Then, when you speak, your brain is already trained to form those thoughts quickly.
That's a practical tip. So, the key takeaway is fluent thinking is the foundation. Without it, fluent speaking is almost impossible.
Exactly. Fluent thinking is like the invisible engine behind your spoken English.
Perfect. Next, let's talk about what stops people from thinking fluently and how to overcome those barriers. All right, Julia, now that we know how important fluent thinking is, let's get real for a moment. What are some of the biggest barriers that stop learners from thinking fluently in English?
Good point, Jason. There are quite a few, but I'd say the biggest one is translation. Many learners still think in their native language and then try to convert everything into English. This takes extra time and slows down the whole process.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Like, someone wants to say, "I'm hungry," but first, they think about how to say it in their language, then try to find the words in English.
Exactly. And that extra step causes hesitation and breaks the flow. Another barrier is overthinking. Learners often worry about making mistakes or about grammar rules while they're speaking.
Right, and that fear can freeze their thoughts. Instead of flowing naturally, their brain is busy judging every word.
Yes, and that's really harmful because fluent thinking requires freedom and creativity, not judgment.
What about vocabulary? Does limited vocabulary stop fluent thinking too?
Absolutely. If you don't have enough words or phrases ready in your brain, it's hard to keep your thoughts moving. You get stuck searching for words, which interrupts fluent thinking.
So, limited vocabulary, fear of mistakes, overthinking, and translation, these are the main enemies.
Yes, and there's one more I want to add: lack of practice. If you don't practice thinking in English regularly, your brain won't build the habit of fluent thinking.
Makes sense. Like training a muscle, if you don't work it out, it gets weak.
Exactly, so recognizing these barriers is the first step to overcoming them.
That's great advice. For our listeners, do you have tips on how to notice when these barriers happen during your speaking practice?
Sure. For example, if you find yourself pausing a lot, or your mind feels blank, or you catch yourself translating sentences word by word, that's a sign a barrier is blocking your fluent thinking.
That's so useful to recognize. Once you know the problem, you can work on fixing it.
Yes, and don't worry, these barriers are common and normal. The good news is, with practice and the right techniques, you can overcome them.
Awesome! Next, we'll dive into some practical techniques to develop fluent thinking and break through these barriers. All right, Julia, now comes the exciting part. How can our listeners actually develop fluent thinking? What are some practical techniques they can start using today?
Great question, Jason. There are several effective techniques, and the key is to make thinking in English a natural habit. One of the best ways is to practice thinking directly in English instead of translating from your native language.
That sounds simple but powerful. How can someone start doing that?
A good way is to start with small things, like naming objects around you in English or describing what you're doing or feeling throughout the day. For example, when you're cooking, think, "I am cutting the vegetables," or when you're walking, "The weather is nice today."
I like that. It's like giving your brain small exercises to get used to English.
Exactly. Another great technique is visualization. Imagine a situation and think about it in English, like imagining you're ordering food in a restaurant or talking to a friend.
So kind of mentally rehearsing conversations.
Yes, but without memorizing scripts. It's about freely creating sentences and ideas in your mind, just like real life.
What about using an inner dialogue? Like talking to yourself inside your head?
Yes, that's another powerful method. You can mentally narrate your day, express your thoughts, or even argue with yourself in English. This builds your brain's fluency.
That sounds fun, like practicing with your inner friend.
Exactly. And for more advanced learners, I recommend journaling in English. Writing your thoughts helps structure your ideas, which then makes thinking and speaking easier.
And what about tools like watching English movies or listening to podcasts? Do they help?
Definitely. Listening helps your brain get used to English patterns and rhythms. The more you listen, the more natural it feels to think in English.
I've also heard about using flashcards or vocabulary apps. How do those fit in?
They're helpful too, but the key is to use the words actively. Don't just memorize, try to think with the new words, make sentences, and connect ideas.
So practice, practice, and practice. What about time? How long does it take to develop fluent thinking?
It depends on the person, but consistency is most important. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day of focused thinking practice can make a big difference over weeks and months.
That's encouraging. So our listeners don't need to spend hours every day, just regular practice.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes during your mental practice. Fluent thinking is about progress, not perfection.
Awesome tips, Julia. I'm sure our listeners will find these techniques very useful. Up next, we'll talk about how mindset and confidence play a role in fluent thinking. Julia, we've talked a lot about techniques and practice, but I think mindset and confidence play a huge role in fluent thinking too. What do you think?
Absolutely, Jason. Mindset is like the foundation. If you believe you can think and speak fluently, your brain is more willing to take risks and try new ways of thinking in English.
So a positive mindset helps your brain open up to learning instead of shutting down because of fear?
Exactly. Many learners get stuck because they're afraid of making mistakes or sounding silly. That fear creates mental blocks and stops fluent thinking.
I get that. When I first started learning, I was so nervous about speaking that my mind went blank.
That's totally normal. But the key is to be kind to yourself and remember that making mistakes is part of the learning process.
And confidence grows with practice, right?
Yes. The more you practice thinking and speaking, the more confident you become. And that confidence feeds back into your mindset, making fluent thinking easier.
It's like a positive cycle. Confidence boosts fluent thinking, and fluent thinking boosts confidence.
Exactly. So if you're feeling stuck, remind yourself to stay positive and keep practicing. Your brain needs time and patience to build these new habits.
Great advice, Julia. Mindset and confidence really are the invisible superpowers behind fluent thinking and speaking.
Yes, and with the right mindset, every step you take brings you closer to fluency.
All right, Julia. We've talked about the theory and mindset behind fluent thinking, but what about actual practice activities? What can our listeners do daily to build fluent thinking?
Great question, Jason. There are some simple but powerful activities anyone can do to get their brain used to thinking in English. One of my favorites is daily self-talk, just talking to yourself in English throughout the day.
Like narrating your actions or thoughts inside your head.
Exactly. For example, if you're making breakfast, say to yourself, I am cracking the eggs. Now I am stirring the batter. It helps you practice forming sentences naturally.
I love that, because it's easy to do anytime and anywhere.
Yes. Another activity is describing your surroundings out loud or mentally. Look around and describe what you see, hear, or feel in English.
That's a great way to build vocabulary and make fluent thinking more automatic.
Definitely. Also, try thinking in questions and answers. For example, ask yourself, what will I do today? And then answer in English. This keeps your brain active and thinking in English.
I like that it's like having a mini conversation with yourself.
Exactly. And for something more interactive, you can use English language apps or chatbots to practice quick thinking.
Right, like apps that simulate conversations so you can practice responding fast.
Yes, and don't forget reading aloud. When you read in English, try to really think about the meaning, and then speak it out loud smoothly.
That helps connect your thinking with speaking muscles.
Exactly. Lastly, journaling in English for even 5 to 10 minutes a day can help organize your thoughts and develop fluent thinking.
Great! So to sum up daily self-talk, describing surroundings, question-answer thinking, using apps, reading aloud, and journaling.
Yes, those are all fantastic ways to build fluent thinking and improve your English naturally.
Awesome! Now our listeners have clear, practical ways to start thinking fluently every day. All right, Julia, it's time for some Q&A from our listeners. We asked them to send in their questions about fluent thinking and speaking. Ready to hear some?
Absolutely, Jason. I love hearing from our listeners. What's the first question?
Here's one from Maria in Spain. How can I stop translating in my head and start thinking directly in English?
Great question, Maria. The best way is to practice small moments of thinking in English, like naming objects around you or describing what you're doing in simple English. The more you practice, the less you rely on translation.
Nice! Here's another from Ahmed in Egypt. I get nervous, and my mind goes blank. How can I keep thinking fluently when I'm anxious?
That's a common problem, Ahmed. Try to slow down your breathing and focus on simple thoughts. Remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes. Practicing daily will build your confidence and reduce anxiety over time.
Great advice. And here's a listener story from Lena in Brazil. She said she used to struggle with speaking because she translated everything, but after practicing self-talk and thinking in English daily, she feels much more confident now.
That's inspiring. It shows how consistent practice really changes your fluent thinking and speaking.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, Lena. To all our listeners, keep practicing, and remember, fluent thinking is a journey.
Yes, and we're here with you every step of the way.
All right, Julia. We've covered a lot today about how fluent thinking leads to fluent speaking. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways for our listeners.
Sounds good, Jason. First, fluent thinking means your brain works smoothly and quickly in English without relying on translation.
Right. And the connection between thinking and speaking is strong, fluent. Thinking makes speaking easier and more natural.
We also talked about common barriers like translating, overthinking, fear of mistakes, and limited vocabulary.
And how to overcome those with practical techniques like thinking directly in English, visualization, self-talk, and journaling.
Plus, the importance of mindset and confidence. Believing in yourself helps you take risks and keep practicing.
And finally, daily practice activities like narrating your day, describing surroundings, and reading aloud make a huge difference.
Exactly. So, if you keep these points in mind and practice regularly, your fluent thinking and speaking will improve step by step.
Great advice, Julia. Thanks to everyone for listening. Keep practicing your English and stay confident.
Yes, and remember, fluent thinking leads to fluent speaking. See you next time.
Well, Julia, that brings us to the end of today's episode on Fluent Thinking Leads to Fluent Speaking. I hope our listeners found it helpful and inspiring.
Me too, Jason. Remember, fluency is a journey, and every step you take in practicing your thinking will bring you closer to speaking confidently.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to leave your questions or comments below. We love hearing from you.
Absolutely. And follow us on social media for daily tips and motivation. Thanks for joining us on the English Learning Podcast. Until next time, keep thinking in English.
Take care, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and as always, I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Julia.
Hi, Jason. Hello, listeners. We're so excited to have you here today because we have a very special episode for you.
That's right. Today, we're talking about something that almost every English learner struggles with the pressure of speaking fluently. Have you ever felt nervous while speaking English? Or maybe you hesitate because you're afraid of making mistakes.
Oh, yes. That's such a common feeling. Many learners feel like they have to be perfect before they speak. But guess what? That's not true at all.
Exactly. Fluency is not about speaking without mistakes. It's about speaking comfortably and naturally. And today, we're going to show you how to improve your English fluency without stress.
We'll share why learners feel stressed, the biggest mindset shift that can help you, and practical tips to speak fluently without pressure.
Plus, we'll also talk about fun and easy ways to practice English every day. So, whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, this episode is for you.
So, grab a cup of coffee, relax, and let's get started. Jason, let's first talk about why so many learners feel stressed about fluency.
So, Julia, let's start with a big question. Why do so many English learners feel stressed about fluency?
Oh, that's a great question, Jason. From my experience, learners feel stressed because they're afraid of making mistakes. They worry that if they say something wrong, people will laugh at them or think they're not smart.
Yes, that's one of the biggest fears. But here's the truth. Even native speakers make mistakes. Think about it. When you speak in your first language, do you always say things perfectly?
Not at all. I make mistakes all the time, but I just keep talking. And that's exactly what English learners should do, keep speaking, even if it's not perfect.
Absolutely. Another big reason for stress is that learners feel they need to speak fast to be fluent.
Yes, they think if I don't speak quickly, people will think I'm not fluent. But actually, that's not true at all.
Right? Many fluent English speakers talk slowly and clearly. Fluency is not about speed. It's about being able to express yourself comfortably.
Exactly. And another reason for stress is when learners feel like they don't know enough words. They want to sound smart or advanced, so they try to use big, difficult words.
But that actually makes things harder. When you try to use words you're not comfortable with, you hesitate and feel even more nervous.
Right. The best way to speak fluently is to use simple, clear words. You don't need fancy vocabulary, you just need to speak naturally.
So, Let's summarize. The three biggest reasons for fluency stress are fear of mistakes. Thinking fluency means speaking fast and trying to use difficult words.
Yes, and now that we know why learners feel stressed, let's talk about how to change your mindset so you can speak fluently without fear.
All right? Now that we understand why learners feel stressed about fluency, let's talk about something really important: the mindset shift. Julia, what's the number one thing that learners need to realize if they want to speak fluently?
They need to understand that fluency is not about speaking perfectly, it's about speaking comfortably. If you focus too much on perfection, you'll be too scared to speak.
Yes, that's such a powerful idea. Think about little kids when they learn to talk. Do they wait until they can say perfect sentences before they start speaking?
No way they just start talking, even if they make mistakes. And that's how they get better.
Exactly. But many English learners don't do this. They think, I can't speak until I know all the grammar rules and all the vocabulary words. But that's not how language learning works.
Yes, if you wait until you're perfect, you'll never start speaking. The best way to improve is to speak as much as possible, even with mistakes.
That's right. And here's another important point. Mistakes are proof that you're learning. If you're not making mistakes, you're not improving.
I love that. Imagine you're learning to ride a bike. If you never fall, it means you're not trying. The same is true for English. If you never make mistakes, you're not challenging yourself.
Exactly. And here's something interesting: even native speakers make mistakes all the time. They say things like, I don't got it instead of I don't have it, or me and my friend went there instead of my friend and I went there.
That's true, but do they stop speaking because of that?
Nope, they just keep talking. And that's the secret. Don't stop speaking just because you made a mistake.
So instead of focusing on speaking perfectly, learners should focus on getting their message across.
Yes, your goal is not to sound like an English professor. It's to communicate and be understood.
So, here's a challenge for our listeners. The next time you're speaking English, don't stop to fix every mistake. Just keep going.
That's a great challenge. And now that we've talked about the right mindset, let's move on to some practical strategies to help you speak fluently without stress. So, Julia, we've talked about the mindset shift, how learners need to focus on speaking, not perfection. But now, let's give our listeners some practical strategies to help them speak fluently without stress.
Yes, because it's one thing to understand that mistakes don't matter, but it's another thing to actually practice speaking in a stress-free way.
Exactly! All right, here's strategy number 1. Think in English. Julia, why is this so powerful?
Because if you think in your native language first and then translate, your brain has to do extra work. That's why many learners hesitate when speaking. They're translating in their heads.
Yes. Instead of translating, try to describe things around you in English. For example, if you're walking outside, think, the sky is blue. I see a big tree. That car is red. This helps your brain get used to English.
Great tip! All right, strategy number 2, use simple sentences. Many learners try to speak in long, complex sentences, but that's not necessary.
Yes. Short and simple sentences are easier to say and understand. Instead of saying, I have a strong passion for learning English and developing my communication skills, just say, I love learning English and improving my speaking.
That's much easier. All right, here's strategy number 3, practice speaking alone.
Oh, I love this one. You don't need a partner to practice English. You can talk to yourself, describe your day, explain your plans, or even read out loud from a book.
Yes, and you can also record yourself speaking. When you listen to your own voice, you'll notice things you can improve. and you'll become more confident.
Great point. Now, strategy number 4, shadowing. This is a powerful technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, copying their pronunciation and rhythm.
Yes, you can do this with podcasts, YouTube videos, or movies. Just pause, repeat, and try to match the speaker's speed and tone.
Awesome! Now, let's talk about strategy number 5, slow down when speaking.
Yes, many learners think they need to speak fast to sound fluent, but actually, speaking too fast can make you more nervous and lead to mistakes.
Exactly. It's better to speak slowly and clearly. Even native speakers take their time when they talk.
Right, and here's strategy number 6, learn phrases, not just words.
Oh, this is a great one. Instead of memorizing single words, learn common expressions and phrases like, "That's a good question. I see what you mean," or "Let me think about that."
Yes, this makes your speech sound more natural and helps you respond faster in conversations.
All right. So let's summarize these 6 practical strategies for speaking fluently without stress.
Number 1, think in English.
Number 2, use simple sentences.
Number 3, practice speaking alone.
Number 4, shadowing.
Number 5, slow down when speaking.
And number 6, learn phrases, not just words.
If you practice these strategies every day, you'll start speaking English more naturally and confidently, without stress.
Absolutely. And now that we've shared these great strategies, let's move on to something fun, interactive exercises that can help you build fluency even faster. So far, we've talked about practical strategies for speaking fluently without stress. But now, let's focus on something really important, building confidence in real conversations. Julia, what do you think stops many learners from speaking confidently?
Well, I think the biggest reason is fear of making mistakes, fear of not finding the right words, or fear of being judged.
Yes, many learners think, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh at me? But here's the truth. Most people don't care if you make mistakes.
That's right. Native speakers are usually impressed when someone tries to speak their language. They're not looking for perfect grammar. They just want to understand you.
Exactly. So, here's strategy number 1 for building confidence. Start small. If you're nervous, don't jump into long, deep conversations right away. Start with simple interactions, like ordering food in English or greeting someone.
Yes, even saying, "Hi, how are you?" or "Can I have a coffee, please?" will help you feel more comfortable speaking in real situations.
Absolutely. All right, strategy number 2. Focus on the message, not perfection.
Yes, many learners get stuck trying to say things perfectly, but remember your goal is to communicate, not impress. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, people will understand you.
Right. If you don't know a word, don't panic. Use the words you already know. For example, if you forget the word refrigerator, you can say cold box for food, and people will understand.
That's a great example. And here's strategy number 3, practice speaking in a safe environment.
Oh, this is important. If you feel nervous speaking with strangers, practice with a friend, a tutor, or even talk to yourself in the mirror.
Yes. You can also practice in online English communities where learners support each other. Many people feel more comfortable speaking in these groups.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about strategy number 4. Use body language and facial expressions.
Oh, I love this one. When you're speaking, smile, use your hands, and show confidence. Your body language helps people understand you, even if your words aren't perfect.
Yes, and when you look confident, you feel confident. Standing tall and making eye contact can actually help you speak better.
Absolutely. And here's strategy number 5. Slow down and take your time.
Yes, many learners think they need to speak fast to sound fluent, but that's not true. Speaking slowly and clearly actually makes you sound more confident.
That's right. So, let's summarize these 5 strategies for building confidence in real conversations.
Number 1, start small.
Number 2, focus on the message, not perfection.
Number 3, practice in a safe environment.
Number 4, use body language and facial expressions.
And number 5, slow down and take your time.
If you follow these steps, you'll feel more confident speaking English in real conversations.
Absolutely. And now, let's move on to our next topic, how to stay motivated and keep improving your fluency over time. We've talked about confidence, mindset, and practical strategies. But now, let's make learning even more exciting. Julia, let's explore some fun and stress-free ways to improve fluency.
Yes, because fluency doesn't have to be serious or boring. In fact, the best way to improve is to enjoy the process.
Exactly. So, let's start with strategy number 1. Watch movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos in English.
Yes, this is a great way to learn natural expressions and pronunciation. And you can start with subtitles if you need them, then try watching without subtitles.
That's a great tip. And here's something fun. Try imitating the actors. Pause the video, repeat the lines, and copy their pronunciation and tone.
Oh, that's a fantastic way to improve fluency. All right, strategy number 2, sing along with English songs.
Yes, music helps you practice pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. Plus, it's fun. You can start with slow songs and then try faster ones.
Exactly. And even if you don't understand every word, you're still training your ears to hear English naturally.
All right, let's move to strategy number 3. Play word games and English-speaking apps.
Oh, I love this one. There are so many great apps like Duolingo, Quizlet, and Wordle that make learning fun.
Yes, and even games like charades or 20 questions can help you think quickly in English while having fun with friends.
Such a great idea. Now, strategy number 4. Join an English speaking club or online community.
Yes, speaking with other learners in a relaxed, friendly environment helps you practice without stress.
And many online platforms like HelloTalk, Tandem, or language exchange groups let you chat with native speakers and other learners.
Perfect. Now, let's talk about strategy number 5. Turn your daily activities into English practice.
Yes, if you like cooking, watch recipes in English. If you love sports, listen to English commentary. Just connect English to your hobbies.
That's a great tip. And here's a fun challenge. Set your phone and social media to English. This small change can really help you think in English daily.
Yes, these little habits make a big difference.
So, let's summarize these fun and stress-free ways to improve fluency.
Number 1, watch movies and copy the actors.
Number 2, sing along with English songs.
Number 3, play word games and use English learning apps.
Number 4, join English speaking clubs or online communities.
And number 5, turn daily activities into English practice.
If you add these fun activities to your routine, you'll improve your fluency without even feeling like you're studying.
Absolutely. And now, let's move on to our final topic, how to create a long-term fluency plan that works for you.
We've covered so much in this episode: how to reduce stress, build confidence, and make learning fun. But before we wrap up, Julia, let's leave our listeners with some final motivation.
Yes, if you're feeling nervous about speaking English, remember fluency is not about being perfect. It's about communicating. Every mistake is a step forward, not a failure.
That's right. The key to fluency is consistency. Even 10 to 15 minutes of daily practice can make a huge difference over time.
And most importantly, enjoy the process. Speak with confidence, have fun with English, and trust that you are improving every day.
Absolutely. And if you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to keep practicing, stay motivated, and believe in yourself.
Because you can become fluent in English without stress.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so excited to have you with us today.
In today's episode, we're talking about something really powerful. Something that doesn't start with your mouth or your grammar book, but with your mind.
That's right. The title of this episode is Fluent Speaking Starts in Your Mind, and we're going to show you how your thoughts, your mindset, and your attitude are just as important as the words you learn.
So many English learners think fluency is only about speaking quickly or using big words. But the truth is, your mind controls how fluently you speak. If you're nervous, if you doubt yourself, or if you're afraid of mistakes, all of that can stop your words before they even come out.
Exactly. And don't worry, you're not alone. Jason, do you remember the first time you tried speaking a new language?
Oh, yes, I was shaking. I knew the words in my head, but when I opened my mouth, nothing came out. It wasn't about vocabulary. It was about fear and overthinking.
Same here. I remember learning Spanish. I kept thinking, what if I say it wrong? Or, what will they think of me? But when I changed my mindset, I started speaking more naturally and with confidence.
So today, we're going to help you make that shift. We'll talk about self-belief, positive thinking, how to deal with fear, and even some simple mental exercises to help you speak more freely.
If you've ever felt stuck, shy, or scared to speak English, this episode is for you. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's talk about how to train your mind for English fluency.
Let's get started. All right, let's begin with the first big idea your mind set before speaking English.
Yes, so many learners forget this part. They focus on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, which are all important. But if your mind isn't ready, your mouth won't be ready either.
Exactly. Let's ask our listeners a question. Have you ever known what to say in English, but still didn't say it because you felt nervous or afraid?
That happens to almost everyone. You study hard, you prepare, but when it's time to speak, your heart starts racing, your hands sweat, and your mind says, "What if I make a mistake?"
And guess what? That voice in your head, the one that says you're not good enough, or you'll sound silly, that's not English. That's fear. And fear lives in the mind.
Yes, that's why the right mindset is so important. You need to believe I can speak English. I don't need to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm learning and I'm growing.
Let me give a simple example. Imagine two students. One says, I can't speak English. It's too hard. The other says, I'm still learning, but I will try. Who do you think will speak more fluently?
Of course, the second one, because their mind is open and they're ready to learn from experience. They're not blocking themselves.
Right. I often say this to my students. If you think you can't, you won't. But if you think you can, you might surprise yourself.
Mindset is about confidence, but also about accepting yourself as a learner. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You just need to express yourself.
And confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one small step at a time, every time you try, even if you make a mistake.
Yes, every little step counts. Every sentence you speak, even if it's simple, is a victory.
So listeners, before we move on, we want you to remember this. Before you speak English with your mouth, speak kindly to yourself in your mind. Say, I can do this. Because fluent speaking really starts with a positive mindset.
Absolutely. And now that we've talked about mindset, let's dive a little deeper into something that happens inside your head every day: self-talk.
Yes, let's talk about the voice inside your head and how it affects the way you speak English. All right, so we just talked about mindset. Now let's go a bit deeper and talk about something very personal. Something that happens quietly inside your head.
Yes, your self-talk, or what we call your inner voice. It's the little voice that's always talking to you even when no one else is around.
Exactly. That inner voice can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It can say things like, "Come on, you can do it," or "You're going to mess up again."
And sadly, for many English learners, that voice is negative. It says things like, "You sound terrible. People will laugh at you. Don't even try." But here's the truth: you are not your mistakes. You're a learner, and learners need support, not shame.
Let's try this. Think about how you would speak to a friend who's learning English. Would you say, "Wow, your accent is so bad," or "You're so slow"?
Of course not. You'd say, "Great job, keep going, I'm proud of you." So why don't we talk to ourselves like that?
Exactly. We need to become our own cheerleaders. So here's a simple exercise. Next time you feel nervous before speaking, stop and ask yourself, what am I saying to myself right now? If it's negative, change it. Say instead, I'm doing my best. I'm learning and growing. This is good practice.
I love that, and you can even say it out loud if you want. Sometimes hearing positive words helps your brain feel safe and calm.
Let me share a real story. One of my students used to say to herself, "I always forget words." So, every time she spoke, guess what happened? She forgot words. But when she changed her self-talk to, "It's okay to pause, I'll find the words," she actually spoke more fluently.
That's powerful. What we say in our minds becomes our reality.
Exactly. So, listeners, here's a simple takeaway. Start paying attention to your inner voice. Speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement. Use self-talk that lifts you up, not brings you down.
Yes, your fluency journey begins with your thoughts. If you want to speak confidently, you have to think confidently first.
Up next, we're going to talk about something really fun, a mental tool used by athletes, performers, and yes, even English learners to boost confidence. It's called visualization.
Stay with us, you're going to love this one.
Welcome back. So far, we've talked about mindset and self-talk. Now let's introduce a powerful mental tool that can help you speak English more confidently. It's called visualization.
Yes. Visualization means imagining yourself doing something successfully in your mind before you actually do it. Athletes use this trick all the time before a big game.
Exactly. Before a race, a runner might close their eyes and picture themselves crossing the finish line. They feel the wind, they hear the crowd, they imagine the moment, and it helps them perform better.
So how can English learners use this? Simple. Before a conversation, close your eyes for a few seconds. Imagine yourself speaking clearly. Picture your face relaxed. Hear your voice sounding natural and calm.
Yes, you can even imagine the words coming out smoothly, the other person smiling, and you feeling confident. Your brain actually starts to believe this is possible because it's already seen it happen.
Let's try a quick visualization right now with our listeners.
Great idea. Okay, friends, if you're not driving or walking, gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out.
Now imagine this. You're sitting in a coffee shop. Someone next to you asks, "Where are you from?" You smile, you answer easily in English. Your voice is calm. Your mind is clear. The conversation flows. You feel good. You feel proud. You're doing it.
Take one more deep breath and open your eyes. Feels nice, right?
Visualization is like training your brain, and the more you do it, the more natural it becomes to speak fluently because your mind has already practiced success.
So next time you feel nervous, take a moment, close your eyes, and visualize fluency. You'll be surprised how much it helps.
Coming up next, we'll talk about something just as important: how fear affects your fluency and how to face it with courage.
Stay with us. We're just getting started. Welcome back, everyone. Now, let's talk about something we all want when speaking English confidence.
Oh, yes. But here's the thing: many people think confidence comes after they become fluent. They say, "I'll feel confident when I speak perfectly."
But actually, it's the opposite. You become fluent because you choose to be confident, even if your English isn't perfect yet.
Confidence isn't about knowing every word. It's about saying, "I believe in myself even if I make mistakes." That's what we call the inner game of speaking.
Yes, the inner game is all the stuff that happens inside your mind, your beliefs, your feelings, your courage. It's what gives your words power.
Let me give a quick example. I once met someone who had a small vocabulary, but he spoke with so much confidence. He smiled, made eye contact, and spoke clearly. And you know what? Everyone loved talking to him, even though his grammar wasn't perfect.
That's such a good point. People don't remember your mistakes. They remember your energy.
Exactly. So, if you want to build confidence, don't wait for it. Practice acting confident first. Your feelings will follow.
Here's a quick tip. Before speaking English, do a little power move. Stand tall, take a deep breath, smile. Say to yourself, "I've got this."
Yes, change your posture and you change your mindset. Confidence starts with the way you carry yourself inside and out.
So listeners, remember this. Confidence is not something you find. It's something you decide to feel. And the more you choose it, the stronger it grows.
All right. Now that you're feeling more confident, let's move into something we all deal with: the fear of making mistakes and how to move past it with strength.
You don't want to miss this one. Welcome back. Now let's talk about something that doesn't come from a textbook, but affects your fluency more than you think: emotions.
Yes, emotions like nervousness, fear, excitement, or even embarrassment can change the way we speak, and many learners don't realize this.
Have you ever felt your heart beat faster before speaking in English? Or maybe your mind goes blank, even though you know the words.
That's your body reacting to emotion, not language. Your brain moves into what we call survival mode, and it makes it harder to think clearly or speak smoothly.
Exactly. Even confident speakers sometimes feel stuck when they're under stress. So it's important to recognize it's not your English that's the problem. It's the emotion behind the moment.
Right. And here's something helpful: naming your emotion can help you control it. For example, say quietly to yourself, "I feel nervous," or "I feel shy." When you name the feeling, your brain starts to calm down.
Another trick is using your breath. Take a few slow, deep breaths before speaking. It helps relax your body and mind so your words can flow better.
And don't forget, emotions aren't always negative. You can also feel joy, curiosity, or connection when speaking English. These emotions can actually boost fluency.
That's true. When you're having fun, you forget about fear. You focus on communication, not perfection.
So here's our advice. Notice your emotions before speaking. Accept them, don't fight them. Breathe, smile, stay calm. Let positive feelings guide your words.
Beautifully said, Julia. Emotions are part of being human and part of being a great speaker, too.
Coming up next, we'll talk about a powerful belief that can either hold you back or move you forward your identity as an English speaker.
Stick around, this next part might change the way you see yourself. All right, friends, welcome back. Now, this part is really exciting, and honestly, it's a big turning point for many learners. We're talking about thinking in English.
Yes, this is a big shift. Most beginners think in their native language first and then translate into English. But that takes time, and it slows everything down.
Exactly. You might know the word, but if you're always translating, your brain has to work twice as hard. That's why we encourage learners to start thinking directly in English.
Now, that sounds difficult at first, but don't worry. You don't have to think in full sentences right away. Start with simple words and phrases.
For example, if you see an apple, just think apple, not the word in your native language. Or if you're getting ready for your day, think I'm brushing my teeth. Now I'm putting on my shoes.
Yes, it's like giving your brain a little English workout throughout the day. No pressure, no one's listening. Just you and your thoughts in English.
And here's a great trick. Talk to yourself in English, silently or even out loud. For example, I'm tired today. I need to buy milk. This music is nice.
The more you do this, the more your brain starts to get used to English. Soon, your words will come faster and more naturally when you speak to others.
It's all about building that mental connection. You're training your brain to treat English like your own language.
Exactly. So don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just practice small thoughts every day. Over time, it adds up and your fluency improves from the inside out.
So listeners, remember, start small. Use daily situations. Think in words or phrases. Make English a natural part of your inner world.
Coming up next, we'll dive into the impact of your identity and beliefs. If you've ever said, "I'm not good at English," this next part is for you.
Let's talk about who you believe you are and how that shapes the way you speak. Welcome back. Now, let's talk about something that holds many English learners back: perfectionism and the fear of making mistakes.
Yes, perfectionism can be a real trap. Many learners think they must speak perfectly, with no errors at all, or else they feel embarrassed or ashamed.
But here's the truth. Mistakes are not failures. They are a natural part of learning any language. And without mistakes, you can't improve.
I love that. Think about when you were a baby learning to walk. Did you stop because you fell? No way! You got up, tried again, and kept going.
Exactly. Speaking English is the same. Mistakes mean you're trying, you're growing. They're signs of progress, not something to fear.
Another thing perfectionism can make you freeze. You might avoid speaking because you're scared to say the wrong thing, but the only way to get better is by speaking often, even if it's not perfect.
Right. So here's a little challenge for our listeners. Next time you speak English, give yourself permission to make mistakes. Say to yourself, "It's okay. I'm learning."
And celebrate every small step. Every sentence you say is a victory. Every conversation you try is progress.
Remember, fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave, consistent, and kind to yourself.
So if you feel stuck in perfectionism, take a deep breath, smile, and say, "I'm human. I'm learning. I'm improving every day."
Beautiful words. And that mindset will open the door to greater confidence and freedom in speaking English.
Coming up next, we'll talk about practical daily habits that build fluency from the inside out. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, let's talk about something really important for fluent speaking: mindfulness and presence.
Yes, mindfulness means being fully aware of the moment, paying attention to what you're saying, how you feel, and what the other person is saying.
When you're present, you're not distracted by worries or mistakes. You're focused on the conversation itself.
Exactly. Sometimes learners get stuck thinking, "Did I say that right?" Or "What will they think of me?" That takes away your energy and slows you down.
But if you practice mindfulness, you can catch those thoughts and gently bring your focus back to speaking to your words and your listener.
Here's a simple tip. Before you start speaking, take a slow breath and notice your body. Feel your feet on the ground, your voice in your throat. That helps you stay calm and clear.
Being present lets your natural speaking ability shine. It helps you listen better, respond faster, and enjoy the conversation.
So next time you speak English, try to be mindful fully here in the moment. You might be surprised how much easier it gets.
Up next, we'll share some final thoughts and encouragement to help you keep growing your English fluency every day. Welcome back. As we near the end of today's episode, let's talk about something every English learner needs: mental resilience.
That's right. Mental resilience means being able to bounce back after challenges like when you struggle to find the right word or feel nervous in a conversation.
Speaking a new language isn't always easy. There will be moments of frustration, confusion, or even embarrassment. But mental resilience helps you keep going, no matter what.
One way to build resilience is by changing how you think about challenges. Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. Also, remind yourself why you started learning English in the first place. Keep your goals and dreams close. They will motivate you through tough times.
And don't forget, every time you try to speak, you get stronger. Your brain is training, your skills are improving, and your confidence is growing.
So when you face speaking challenges, take a deep breath and say, "I am capable. I will keep practicing. I will improve."
That positive mindset builds mental strength, and fluent speaking becomes a journey, not a struggle.
Great words, Julia. And with that, we're almost at the finish line. Up next, some final encouragement for all our listeners. We've covered a lot today, friends. Before we finish, let's quickly recap some key tips to help you speak English fluently starting in your mind.
Absolutely. First, remember that your mindset matters more than your grammar. Believe in yourself and choose confidence every time you speak.
Next, practice thinking in English throughout your day. Even simple words or phrases help your brain switch gears.
Don't be afraid of mistakes. They're proof you're learning and growing. Give yourself permission to be imperfect.
Also, manage your emotions by being mindful and present when speaking. Deep breaths and focus will help you stay calm.
And finally, build mental resilience. Keep going, even when it feels hard, because every effort takes you closer to fluency.
That's a powerful mindset for success. We hope these tips inspire you to keep practicing and growing.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and share it with friends who want to improve their English.
See you next time on the English Learning Podcast, where your fluent English journey starts inside your mind. That's all for today's episode, friends. We hope you found these ideas helpful for building fluency from the inside out.
Remember, speaking English confidently really does start in your mind. Keep practicing, stay positive, and be patient with yourself.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We love hearing from you.
And share this podcast with anyone who wants to improve their English. Together, we grow stronger.
Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, keep speaking and keep shining.